What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So hopefully yesterday wasn't too bad for you with April Fools, as there was a lot of stuff happening, a lot of jokes, a lot of fake stuff being made up. Some of them look like they took some time and some effort. We're going to go over actually some of the better ones here today. But yeah, I can see how some people might have been kind of annoyed with everything that might have been in their Twitter timeline or in their subscription feed or just on their favorite websites, because it was a bit out of control yesterday. So we'll go over all of that today and more. Some news actually happened, which after sifting through a lot of April Fool stuff and checking it, there was actually quite a few things to go over here that you might have missed. As always, guys, enjoy these videos. Hit the like button, it does help out. And subscribe. We do this every morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time. And we are coming up on 300,000 subscribers, which is pretty amazing. Now we're going to start today with Ukulele. Actually, if you remember, a while ago we talked about a 64-bit mode that was being unveiled, and we kind of took a look at it, and I said, okay, it looks almost just like a little kind of grainy filter or fuzzy option they're putting over it. Although, I guess in motion it looks a bit better now, but still, it's not like how you would expect it to look on the 64. It just seems they kind of made it a bit hazier, a bit fuzzier, and kind of put it out there like that. But they announced it. It is out now, actually. You can go pick it up. It's a patch that is available currently. Once you get it, you can toggle it on and off, and I guess you have a Nintendo 64 aesthetic. Obviously, Ukulele takes heavy inspiration from collectathon stuff like Banjo-Kazooie of that time, so it makes sense why they'd want this option. And of course, it is just available to download for your copy. So, I mean, if you still have Ukulele installed and you haven't deleted it or put it away like completely, you might as well check it out. We also had an interesting update to Sonys and PlayStation, their refund policy. So for a little while now, it's been really tough to get a refund on the PlayStation Network. It's very difficult actually on Nintendo's eShop. In fact, they really don't ever want to refund you anything. Microsoft is a bit different. They refund constantly. Actually, it's pretty easy. And Steam is like the poster child right now for when it comes to refunds, as they do it perfectly. Like, seriously, Steam is the best place for refunds. But it looks like Sony is at least altering to fit the consumers a bit more. They still have ways to go, though, to match something like Steam, but they are technically better than Nintendo, but not so much Microsoft. So what have they altered? Well, on their page, strangely, early April 1st, they made some updates that included things like your ability to refund pre-order purchases more than 14 days before the release date. So you have to pretty much make their request, and they will then, I guess, check it out, make sure everything's on the up and up, and then refund you. And then you have pre-orders, and you have the ability to refund your games, DLC, and add-ons as long as you have not downloaded them yet, but you've purchased them. So this is an interesting one. See, I think I would prefer that you do something like Steam, where you can play the game for 2 hours, up to 2 hours, and then you can decide if it's for you or not. In fact, that's a complaint people have had for games that are like Sekiro, for example. Maybe they bought into it thinking it'd be something completely different. After an hour, they go, okay, yeah, this isn't something I can handle, and then you can refund it. That's something I think would have worked better, but it seems like if you just download it, like, you can't refund it. That's a bit weird to me. I like Steam's offering there of 2 hours, and Microsoft, I've seen some people almost beat a game and still get their money back for it. So Microsoft is very, very good about it on consoles, but that one's a bit case by case, as you have to call in, talk to a person, a service rep and everything, and get that all worked out, where Steam is pretty much automated and pretty easy. So at least they're making steps in the right direction, but they still have a bit of ways to go, and Nintendo needs to figure something out, because they have like nothing in place. Like, if you call and talk to someone, it is a fight to get a refund for anything. This, from Sony at least so far, protects people who maybe they bought something by accident and they haven't touched it or downloaded it, which is funny because the game pretty much downloads, I think, for me anyway, automatically when I buy it. I mean, it asks if you want to start downloading and installing it. Most times you go, well, yeah, of course. So I guess it just protects you, like with an accidental purchase one night. Oh, and just for fun, it probably won't amount to anything, but it appears that Phil Spencer has gone overseas to talk to Japanese and Korean developers, publishers, all of that, anyone that I guess they can talk to, and it seems to be about E3 2019. Now, this is news that really made the rounds, and it seems to be Phil Spencer getting on a plane, flying around, and then I guess coming back. Now, what is that going to actually amount to? Who knows? I mean, it really is hard to say. He's done this before, I think last year leading up to E3, and not a ton of stuff happened. I mean, look, they got like Dragon Ball FighterZ and stuff, but I think that's by mostly default because the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox are so similar that it's not too bad to go back and forth between them. Although some Japanese developers have pretty much just not even cared about the Xbox and just bypassed it completely. We just saw Sega do their, the Sonic, or I guess there's the Tokyo Olympic stuff, and it's not even on Xbox. So it's definitely something Microsoft needs to work on, is that Japanese market, but it's difficult for them because Japan just doesn't like the Xbox. So what can you do? Oh, maybe make Lost Odyssey 2. That's a start. A Blue Dragon 2. We'll see. And guys, some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. We're going to start with April Fool's Day. That was yesterday, of course, April 1st, where everyone in the media tries to trick everybody who generally comes by and reads their stuff for telling them the truth, I guess, about games. But there were some good ones. There were some ones that were just kind of thrown out there, or there's a tweet like from me for Mother 3 or something like that. But there were some people who put some actual time and effort into it, maybe a little too much for some of them. But like, for example, NVIDIA did one for a personal assistant that would sit next to you while you're playing on your computer and do all kinds of stuff. They introduced this in a video that you're seeing here for Ron, and Ron's job is to help you with your game, or to help translate foul language into correct speak, political correctness for your teammates and stuff, and at times make fun of you for it. Even will put up a little augmented reality layout of your map and try to show you where you're least likely to die, although it tells you just to hide, because that's how you play. But it was a pretty interesting and very well done video, to the point where some people actually thought it was real. Some people sent me messages saying, hey, do you think they're using the new chip in this thing? And I said, well, I mean, it's an April Fool's joke, so probably not. But it looked super realistic. That was probably the one that most likely faked out the most people, until you get to a Splatoon cell phone game. This one threw people through a loop. Fortunately, they say at the end that it's not real at all, which is good, because there was a lot of time put into this one. You're seeing some video here, and this was absolutely out of control. It was done by Mike Innell on YouTube, straight up. It hit trending. It was all over the place, and it shows Splatoon Island, that is pretty much a cell phone game based around the Splatoon lore, characters, and everything. And I have to say, they did a really, really good job on it. The trailer was like 2 minutes, 20 seconds. You can check it out down in the sources below. And I couldn't believe it myself how well done it was, but it literally shows a Splatoon cell phone game. They got a lot of people in the Splatoon community, and just Nintendo in general, wanting this game now. So Mike pretty much made something that will probably never exist unless Nintendo looks at that and goes, wow, a Splatoon cell phone game, that might actually be interesting. So you never know. Nintendo's kind of making that push towards cell phone stuff, so it could happen. IGN also did a video that was just the Nintendo Direct, which IGN and then actually Wood from Beat 'em Ups did one as well that caught a lot of attention. But IGN did one that was pretty funny because it was just everything going to the Switch. They just did the snap thing over and over and over again and just put everything on the Switch. I was looking through that, and they might have actually had one or two right by accident. So, hey, look forward to that, I guess. They accidentally, I guess, told people about a few things that are supposed to apparently happen, we'll say. But overall, it was pretty funny. We also had Kirby's, I guess, Twitter handle put up a square Kirby, so Kirby Square, at least for yesterday. And then we also had something that I think broke some people's hearts, and that was Vooks.net put up a Rare Replay 64 with 10 epic games, one historic collection for the Switch. I saw some people really annoyed by it because they put everything that was pretty cool in there. Conker's Bad Fur Day, Live and Reloaded, Banjo-Kazooie, Tooie, Killer Instinct, Perfect Dark. It is a pretty cool collection, and honestly, the thing about that is it touches very, very close to reality. Even the box art, as you've been seeing here, looks like it could happen. So that one I think caught people off guard because it could have been a real announcement with what Microsoft seems to be doing with Nintendo. So you never know. Rare Replay could be cut down a bit, a couple games thrown in there and put on the Switch. That one might not be too far off either. Next up, let's talk about the UK sales charts. These, of course, track week to week in the UK, and they give us an idea of how some things are doing in a territory that's generally not Nintendo's strongest, for example, but as you're seeing some of the top 10 here, Yoshi actually topped the charts. Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see that. Of course, Yoshi's Crafted World at number 1. The Division 2 was right below it at 2. Apparently, it was only off of Yoshi by like 60 or 70 units, so it was pretty close. Sekiro dropped from 1 down to 3, so Sekiro's still selling well enough for a game that's super difficult from Software, so it's at least good to see. FIFA 19, that pretty much never leaves the top of these charts over in the UK, is up there. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Far Cry New Dawn, Red Dead Redemption 2, The Lego Movie 2, Assassin's Creed 3 Remaster, which was also a brand new entry there, and Forza Horizon 4 round out the top 10. Now, I actually was a bit surprised to see Yoshi top these charts, in the UK at least. I expect it to top like the Media Crate sales, or I guess at this point Famitsu, since Media Crate is holding on to those numbers now. They'll still give us rankings similar to this, I believe. but I wouldn't be surprised to see Yoshi top that chart either. The MPDs will be that probably not as much, but to see it at the top here in the UK, it's just an area that's not strong for Nintendo. Is pretty good considering Yoshi hasn't had like a massive push. And I've been playing it for a bit now, and it's an easier game. It's a good platformer technically, and the performance is 60 frames. That's nice, whereas the resolution's obviously lowered and it's kind of blurry. It seems like a good game for a younger audience, and that seems to be what they're pushing it towards, but I think some people can find some fun in it, and obviously some people are buying into it. Now, I do think the Switch, of course, has people who generally wait mostly for first-party Nintendo titles to show up, and they'll all probably do well with the Switch's current install base and it climbing. So maybe I shouldn't be as surprised to see Yoshi at the top for the UK sales charts, but it still had things like Sekiro and The Division 2 right below that are very strong contenders to kind of keep moving along. So we'll see how Yoshi does here. It's a very good chance that Yoshi starts to really drop off of these charts going forward, as I see it kind of like Kirby from last year, right? That's how I'm viewing Yoshi this year. Kirby was pretty easy last year, and then it started to drop down the charts and it was gone. I kind of see the same thing for Yoshi here. Next up, let's talk about Samurai Shodown. Not the newer one. Let's talk about a collection that appears to be coming out and being put out by SNK. Now, originally I saw this and I said April Fool's, right? Nope, this was actually revealed at PAX 2 days prior, and then it started to kind of really trickle out onto the news after people had attended the panel and put it out there. Well, they're actually putting quite a few Samurai Shodown games in there, and it's pretty exciting for fans of the series. They've had kind of anthology collections before, but hey, they're putting out another one, and for people who are fans of the series, looks like it's going to be on quite a few platforms as well, and we're going to go down the list of the games that they're putting on there, starting with Samurai Shodown 1, Samurai Shodown 2, Samurai Shodown 3, Blades of Blood, Samurai Shodown 4, 5, and then 5 Special. And this is going to be on the Xbox One, the Switch, PC, and PS4, and it appears to be coming out later on this fall for 2019, and SNK Corporation and Digital Eclipse, they're the ones releasing the collection. So that's actually really, really cool and exciting. Again, it's going to kind of go along with the new one that's coming out, but to have a collection for fans of the series, we're also going to have to find out a few things about this. Is there input latency? It's really bad, as we've seen with some collections. Sega seems to have an issue with that with their collection, and this is a straight up fighting game, a bunch of them. So I'd like to assume that it'll do better, and then of course we got to see if there are any filter options or anything to help it out with modern TVs. Very large, 65-inch 4K displays. If they have like 4K stuff set up kind of for like the Xbox One X and the PlayStation 4 Pro, that would be helpful. And then of course, are there going to be any features with the Switch? Single Joy-Con play, which I assume probably wouldn't be great, but good in a pinch. We'll have to see about that, but look forward to a bunch of Samurai Shodown happening this fall. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about Borderlands 3, because yesterday a bunch of stuff started happening, and it doesn't look great for fans who do not want to download the Epic Game Store. We're going to have to go over that because it's not looking good. Now, they did at least seemingly leak the release date, and it's around kind of when I actually thought it would be. See, the second one launched in September years and years and years ago, and then in a very quickly deleted tweet that Wario64 was able to grab and capture and put online, they appear to be aiming for September 13th, as you're seeing Wario after he captured it here. And September 13th makes sense. It's a Friday. It's around the same time, like I said, as the second one launched. No issues there. However, then we see an Epic Game Store symbol from a Twitter ad video that is now deleted as well, also captured by Wario64. Yes, Epic Game Store at the bottom left. No Steam symbol. So what does this mean? Well, unfortunately, there's a chance, again I say chance, that Borderlands 3 might actually be a one-year exclusive or something to the Epic Game Store. I'm not surprised by the idea of this. Obviously, Epic is making these pushes for a lot of games. They managed to convince Ubisoft to even do something like that with their own games. So to see something like a Borderlands 3 have money thrown at it so that they would bring it over, not very surprising. But I do want to point something out that kind of lends some backing to this and maybe explains where you want to send emails to, maybe, I don't know. But there is a tweet out now from Randy Pitchford that you're seeing here. I'm actually going to read it to you. And it seems to be him basically confirming it without outright saying it, saying 2K Take-Two has exclusive publishing rights for Borderlands 3 and makes all decisions regarding price points, territories, distribution, and platform partnerships. Please direct all inquiries regarding any of those topics to 2K. We are just the talent. As a customer, I'm happy to shop in different stores, already do. I've bought games for Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, Steam, Origin, GOG, Humble, Uplay, Epic, and other stores. To me, exclusives are fine when they come with advantages, and when they are short, say 6 months with a smiley face. For what it's worth, 2K's decisions aside, myself and the team at Gearbox have a very keen interest in cross-platform play. We believe multi-platform support is a prerequisite, and Epic's leadership with cross-platform support is helpful to our interests there. So here's the thing, we're going to find out more information April 3rd, that's tomorrow, but don't expect it, I think at this point, to not be an Epic Store timed exclusive. That seems to be happening, but you can also look forward to it releasing September 13th, so it's coming out seemingly, a few months from now, 4 or 5 months from now, so later on this year. Yes, the Epic Game Store does hurt, but look, I mean, Steam needs to start moving on these things. If they're not talking to anybody, well, guess what? Epic Games is going to come down and talk to everyone they can. 2K, whoever. Steam needs to move. They got to do something here. Epic Games is going to keep throwing the money around until people have to go to the Epic Game Store by default for these type of games. Even if it's a 6-month, say, like Randy Pitchford's kind of pointing out here, exclusive deal, that's still enough for them to get you to download and install their client to play it on PC. Now, if you're on console, you probably don't care about any of this Epic Game Store stuff, and you're just happy to hear that September 13th is probably when it's coming out. But look forward tomorrow to find out more information. But after reading through Randy Pitchford's tweets there, it seems like you're going to be downloading the Epic Game Store on PC if you want to play this thing day one there. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, make sure to hit the like button. It really helps us out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it is Yoshi seemingly taking the top spot in the UK. Is that surprising to you to see Yoshi pretty much jump to the top, snatch the top spot, and you think it'll fall off, or you think it'll kind of stick around in the top 10 for a while? Let me know about that. And then what do you think about Borderlands 3 seemingly going to the Epic Game Store as a timed exclusive and then a September 13th release date? Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.